Hello everyone, it's Elaine from Pink Peppermint Cards. Thank you for joining me here today on the Time for Tea Designs YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a card process video using some new products in their most recent release. So here you can see I've taken a piece of white heavyweight cardstock here and I'm using the new cloud stencil. And I've already gone ahead and traced out this stencil onto some masking paper, and I'm using this mask to help me section off different areas of the clouds, and I'm going to be working from top to bottom. So here on the screen you can see I've taken a mini ink blending tool, and this is Worn Lipstick Distress ink, and I'm going to be putting that all over the top panel. If you saw Joe, who is the owner of Time for Tea Designs, on a recent stint on Create and Craft TV, you will see that she actually cut off the top portion of that stencil, that bit at the top, so you wouldn't have to slide your card stock through the top, which is a really good tip. But if you don't want to cut your stencil, you can just slide it through the top so that it isn't in the way when you come to ink blend, if you want to do this technique. So now I've moved on to Spiced Marmalade. I've used another mask, the one below the panel that I'm actually inking. I didn't mask off the area above because the ink is a little bit wet and sometimes the masks don't actually stick. So I was just really careful, starting at the base of the section and moving up, and then pressing and twisting my ink blending tool. And the round shape of the ink blending tool sort of lends itself to these puffy clouds, so it just helps you not to get the ink into the section above. So I'm just working my way down here. This colour is Squeezed Lemonade. Just gone for a really light layer, a really nice pastel themed rainbow card background. Again, hopefully you can see I'm just pressing and twisting my tool and just working my way down. So I did continue this process using Cracked Pistachio, Blueprint Sketch and Wilted Violet, and then I'm taking this Cosmic Shimmer Spritz all over that inked panel, and then I'm going to leave that aside to dry. Now I've already gone ahead and stamped out my images from the Toucan Do This stamp set, and a new stamp set. I've stamped out my images with Mementos Tuxedo black ink onto some Copic friendly cardstock, and all of the supplies I'm using in today's video will be listed down in the description box below, along with all the social media links, so you can have a look at all the projects the design team have been making over the last few weeks to get some inspiration and to see what else is available in their most recent releases. So I'm using some E20 markers here mainly for my branch. And I'm just doing some really simple colouring today, just trying to get a bit of shading on the base and to the edge. I will be cutting off a little bit of this image once my card is assembled. But first of all, I wasn't really too sure exactly how my design was going to come together, so I'm just colouring everything in. So here's most of the other stamps in the Toucan Do This stamp set. There are some other stamps. There's a larger toucan as well, which I have created a card using, and the design team have also created some lovely projects with some nice bright colours. So I'm using some W markers here from this part of the toucan, using the tip to tip method there just to help me blend my colours together. And I've gone in for quite a pale face on my toucan, and I'm blending some BV there into some G000, and now moving on to some pink for the beak, just some quite light pink colours, and again using that tip to tip method to make sure that I get as good a blend as possible. I did go quite outside the lines a little, so I'm using my colourless blender there just to push the colour back in. And now I'm scribbling on some RV 55 and 52 and I believe RV 00, and I'm going to take one of the dies in the Toucan Do This stamp set the stamp set comes with coordinating dies, and I just love this little die. It cuts out 3 little hearts all in one go, and it does coordinate with one of the stamps in the set as well. So got some little ombre hearts there, and I'm taking this scallop rectangle set, and I've gone ahead and cut out the smallest rectangle in that set. And how I'm going to assemble my card together. So I've gone ahead and used the die cuts to cut out my stamped images, and I will list down in the description box below the exact dimensions of the rectangles and my card panel and my card base, because they are slightly different from what I would normally make, which would be an American sized A2 card. They are slightly different dimensions. But again, as I said, I'll list all of that in the description box below so you can get an idea of the size of the products, and the information will also be on the Time for Tea Designs website, which I'll also link to if you're interested in having a look at these products. So just using some post-it tape to secure my little die cut pieces down, and then flipping that over and using some liquid adhesive just to secure everything together. Using my reverse tweezers to adhere my toucans. I find using the reverse tweezers gives me a bit of a better visual on placement rather than using my fingers. And once I'm happy, this glue dries really quickly, so I have to move quickly if I'm not happy with where they're placed, but I was happy with these ones. So now I just can remove that post-it tape once I'm happy with where I've positioned everything, and then just trim off the excess with some scissors. Now I'm just applying a little bit of double-sided adhesive all around that frame, and I also do pop a little bit on the branches and the toucans just to make sure everything is going to be adhered nice and strong and not going to fall off. Just removing the release papers, and then I have trimmed my panel down. Again, I will make sure the measurements are down below in the description box, and lining everything up and securing that down to that cloudy rainbow panel. And you can see a little bit of the shimmer there. Once that shimmer spray dries, it does give a really nice effect. So those hearts I'm going to adhere into my scene. I'm using my quick stick tool, some liquid adhesive and my craft knife just to help me position those. I do find that my quick stick tool does want to hang on to whatever it is I'm trying to stick down, so I use my craft knife for this. I think it's because I have lost the end of my quick stick tool. Applying some Spectrum Noir clear sparkle pen all over the hearts. Pop some Glossy Accents onto the hearts as well. Gives them a nice rounded appearance and makes them really nice and shiny. This is the Glossy Accents once it's dried. And then I've taken a piece of craft foam, cut slightly smaller than my cloudy rainbow panel, and popping some double-sided adhesive onto the back. And then I'm going to pop my craft foam onto the back of that rainbow panel. I find craft foam works really well. And then once that's stuck down, I'm going to use some strong liquid adhesive and apply that to my card base. Press that down. Now I did feel like my card needed a little bit something extra, so I pulled out some of my Nouveau drops, and I'm just popping 3 little dots in random places on its coordinating colour. I've listed all of the colours down in the description box below for you. And I didn't have a blue, so I did discover that that's something new I do need to get for my stash, but I did use a pale periwinkle on the blue, which you can't really see, but there we go, there's the colours there. But again, I'll list it down in the description box. Now, I do sometimes struggle with putting sentiments on the front of my card, and this one was quite busy, so I decided to take a sentiment from the Toucan Do This stamp set and just put one in the inside of the card. So because I'd applied everything to the front of the card, I did have to do this upside down in my stamping tool. It was just easier that way, as I did have a bit of dimension on the front of the card, so this was the easiest way to do it. And I'm using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink for this. It gives a really nice dark impression, and these stamps stamp out really lovely and crisp. So thank you for joining me today on the Time for Tea Designs YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this process video. Be sure to check out the Instagram page and the links down in the description box. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.